Hi, it's the M.L.M for the Soul channel, and I do have a new topic for today. Before I begin, I would just like to say, may the words and expressions of my mouth and the thoughts and meditations of my heart find favor and acceptance before you, Hashem. And some people I thank who have inspired me. I hope they can inspire you. I will have links below this video so you can check them out as well. They are Rabbi Shalom Arush, Rabbi Lazer Brody, Rabbi Yosef Mizrahi, Rabbi Eli Mansour, Rabbi Alona Nava, Rav Daniel Asor, Rabbi Yuval Ovadia, Nisan Baruch Black, David Sachs, and Jews for Judaism, Rabbi Michael Skobac. So I'm continuing on this new topic. This is part two of called The True and Only Source of Sustenance, You, Me, or Who? And I've been referring and reading from this Artscroll Series book called Praying with Fire 2. I've also read from the first one. This is the 2. You can see that. And from Rabbi Heshy Kleinman. So we're going to continue this, and I'm not sure if this is going to be, there's going to be one more video or this will be the last one. Just depends on how long it takes. So we're continuing on about Hishtadlus. And this is day 26 called Determining the Proper Hishtadlus. So this is just like a little story, a little kind of, I give you like little stories about different things to relate. So a man worked as an accountant for many years, putting in 40 hours a week, and far more during tax season. On the side, he made a few real estate investments. One year, a deal in which he had been tangentially involved came to fruition, giving him a windfall of more than half his usual yearly income. The time he had invested in the deal amounted to about 12 hours over the previous 6 months. Yet those 12 hours had set the stage for a profit equal to that which has taken him over 1,000 hours to earn in his job. The one thing I learned from this, he told his friends, is that if Hashem wants you to have it, you'll have it. Since everything comes from Hashem, is there any real correlation between the time expended in earning a livelihood and the level of one's earnings? Is there a proper amount of hishtadlus that a God-fearing Jew is permitted to make? If so, how does one determine the correct level of hishtadlus needed? So here's also another kind of like a little story, or they just put it in a different part of the of the page. So it's anyway. Courage born of trust is a major factor in determining the answer. People are often told, "Don't look down" when they are scaling heights. Someone who has the capacity to keep climbing without fear can reach places that the most fearful, cautious person cannot reach. The same may be said of those who recognize that they are receiving their livelihood directly from Hashem's hand. Quote, hand, doesn't have a real hand. Their faith enables them to keep climbing. Those whose faith goes only so far before they are overcome with fear, however, live within the limits set by their anxieties. So by having the faith, you can keep on going. If you don't, then you start worrying about things. King David teaches, praiseworthy is the man who made Hashem his trust and does not turn to the haughty nor the agents of falsehood. Midrash Rabbah expounds that praiseworthy is the man who made Hashem his trust because describes Yosef's perfect trust in Hashem. The end of the verse, and did not turn to the haughty nor the agents of falsehood, also relates to Yosef, but refers to his miscalculations. That is when he asked the chamberlain of the cupbearers to mention me to Pharaoh, quote, mention me to Pharaoh, in hopes of being released from jail. The Beis Levi explains that on Yosef's level of bitachon, as declared in the first part of the verse, such hishtadlus was unwarranted, therefore he was punished. So he really shouldn't have asked for help. So that's why he was punished, because he had so much bitachon, but yet he went and he asked him, to say a good word for me to Pharaoh. Although one is obligated to make hishtadlus, one must make the proper type and amount of hishtadlus. The Chazon Ish teaches that the amount and type should be within the realm of normalcy. Unrealistic efforts indicate that a person has given up hope. Accordingly, because the chamberlain of the cupbearers was haughty and would not mention Yosef to Pharaoh, Yosef's hishtadlus had little chance to succeed. His actions appear desperate, consistent with those of a person who has given up hope, the antithesis of emunah and bitachon in Hashem. So then it says here underneath one of the commentaries that the chamberlain of the cupbearers was motivated to inform Pharaoh of Yosef's ability as a dream interpreter only because it was for his own self-interest, meaning he got a little kind of like, like he gave himself a little extra something that Pharaoh would be good to him. It also says that the Chazon Ish says that a person must evaluate very carefully the relationship of hishtadlus and bitachon for himself. For example, to act in accord with greater bitachon than the level the person has reached, or to rely too much on his own efforts rather than bitachon, is improper. Then Rav Dessler says in Michtav Me'Eliyahu, if one inaccurately assessed himself at a higher level than he actually attained, he may be unable to pass the tests that inevitably lie ahead. If Hashem does not provide for him according to his needs and expectations, he may resent not having made greater hishtadlus. To avoid such an outcome must carefully key to his level of hishtadlus, to his spiritual level of emunah and bitachon, so he can withstand the test if he is not successful with his minimal amount. So make sure you go according to your own level. Don't look at other people, or don't kind of put yourself too far out on a limb, and then you're like, well, what happened? So don't. That's something to be aware of. Can one establish in any situation what is the proper shtadlus? As the Torah does not provide firm parameters, there seems to be no set measure by which one can know that his deeds are consistent with his spiritual state, and to gauge precisely how much hishtadlus to make in a given situation. So Rav Dessler observes, even to Moshe Rabbeinu, the appropriate balance in each situation between bitachon and hishtadlus was not revealed. And that is what Moshe asked Hashem in regard to dispatching the spies to Eretz Yisrael. And Hashem answered him, quote, send forth men if you please. Rashi explains that this to mean, quote, for yourself. In other words, you decide whether the hishtadlus is necessary. And just as one can make a mistake by sending them, so too an error can result by not sending them. So you have to decide either way, which one. Whatever the proper balance between the bitachon and hishtadlus, whether one works a 10-hour day or a 2-hour day, the crucial goal is to understand that whatever wealth enters through the portal of those work hours is solely a gift from Hashem. So don't forget that. It's only a gift from Hashem. And then underneath, it explains in the commentary, this rule is that a person must have bitachon in Hashem. And the fact that a person is permitted to make hishtadlus is so that ultimately he should come to the recognition that all his success comes from Hashem and not from his work and effort. So that is why he makes the hishtadlus, so he can realize and recognize that really it all comes from Hashem. And it says also in Devarim 8:18 that you shall remember Hashem, your God, that it was He who gave you strength to make wealth in the following way. Quote, Hashem gives even the suggestion to purchase merchandise, and anything that man achieves is only from Hashem. So let's see, I think we might hold off on continuing and do maybe one more time for this, because there's more I'd like to say and I don't want the video to go too long. So I just want to, in closing, say that I hope and pray that everyone knows the right amount of hishtadlus they need for themselves, but to realize ultimately that it's all from Hashem, and that in knowing all that, we come to that realization that since everything is through Hashem, that we do what we can, so that in the end we will merit to live and see the coming of Mashiach speedily in our days, and the rebuilding of our final everlasting Beis Hamikdash. Amen, and thank you for watching.